Addendums to leases to help you get the most out of your lease agreements with tenants and keep you out of trouble. Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from AttaBoyCowboy, and this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be more successful. Now, wherever you live, you should talk to your apartment association and get a lease from them. The reason being is that they usually have the local rental ordinances integrated into the lease, and they update them as soon as they change. For example, here in LA, there's different laws for LA City than just on the other side, like 5-10 minutes away. West Hollywood has different rules. Santa Monica has different rules. You know, it's just different. They have different rules. They're called city ordinances. They're like laws for each area. So you don't want to go on the internet and just download some lease agreement off the internet. That's a really bad thing to do because that'll get you into trouble. Even though it may not happen, just think of the worst case scenario where you have to go to court with people and you just want to make sure you're covered. So you don't want to do that because that you can get a lease agreement from some other place that has nothing to do with where you live, and it might not have the stuff in there that you have to tell your tenant. For example, here in LA, we're required to tell tenants that if the building was built before 1974, the walls could have lead in it, and that they can't eat it or sniff it or whatever because it can make them sick. So that's in all our lease agreements. So there's different regulations, and if you don't have that in your lease and you sign one in LA, then that opens you up to litigation. So don't make a rookie mistake. Rental associations are very inexpensive, so join one wherever you live. Okay, and here are some extra tips. So this example here, and I'll upload it below so you can copy it. You put addendum to lease, and you put the address, and then like number 1, tenants are responsible for window screens, clogs, which means tenant bears the cost, the cure, repair, and interruption of use. They have to pay for that stuff. You know what I tell tenants? They go, "Hey, the toilet's not working." I go, "Well, it worked when you moved in, so if it's not working anymore, they damaged it. They threw baby wipes or whatever, so they got to pay for it." So you want to make sure you put that in writing, so that they can't come back and sue you or something later because you made them pay for it. Number 2, tenants are responsible for bringing their trash container. That's because a lot of times the tenants, they move in and they don't want to take their trash out. They think you're the trash man, or I don't know, the handyman, and their trash just builds up. And we have to write to them, say, "Dude, you got to take your trash out." "Oh, why pay rent?" And oh no, I don't like to hear that. But anyway, you got to put it in writing. Just tell them they got to take their own containers out and bring them back in. It seems like a no-brainer, but trust me, it happens. A lot of people don't want to. They think because they pay rent, they're entitled to all your time and for you to work for them, which you don't. Number 3, tenants can abide by all rules. Well, that's also a no-brainer, but again, it's good to reinforce it. It's in the lease agreement. Put it here in your addendum. Number 4, it talks about how much you charge for lockouts. You should charge because that happens, and it's not your problem. So, we have better things to do. If you're a landlord or a manager, you got your family, you have your kids, you got your work. You don't need to be running across, at 2 a.m. Sometimes people go out to clubs and they're drunk and they drop their keys or something. That's not my job. I mean, I'll do it, but I'm going to charge them $95 to go out there and do it for them. So if you do that, that's going to teach them to be a little more responsible and maybe have a backup key under a rock or something. You don't want people calling you at all hours. That's not your job, and you don't want to expose yourself to that. So put it in writing. Tip number 5, delinquency fees cannot be included in 3-day notices. Judges don't like that. They'll throw them out, but they're still due in order to continue tenancy. So it means like if you owe $1,000 of rent, you're late, there's a late fee for $50, you got to pay that if you want to keep living there. They can't just ignore your late fees. Number 6, $50 for notices. Again, if people are making a nuisance or they're dumping trash outside, we have to go over there and tell them, hey, clean up your yard, stop making noise. We're going to charge them $50. It sounds harsh, but the only way people get things sometimes is by being charged. I mean, if we can get parking tickets, we'd probably park all over the place. But because of parking tickets, it helps keep the order. So consider it that way. It's not a bad thing. You just charge them $50 for your time. Your time is not free. Remember, time is your most finite and most valuable resource. So don't waste it. If someone's going to make you waste it, make them pay for it. Number 7, counting procedures. First in, first out. Basically, what that means is if they owe you $100 in late fees and they pay their rent this month for $1,000, you're gonna take $100 of that and pay the late fee they owe you from the month before, and they're still gonna owe you $100 of rent for this month. The reason you do that is so if you go to court or something, judges will not make the tenants pay late fees and stuff like that, but they'll make them pay rent. So if they're behind $100 in rent, you can collect that. But if you're behind $100 in late fees, you're not going to get charged. So that's why you want to put that in writing. Make sure that the accounting is taking count. They're charging them for all those late fees first. Keys, $15 each key. Why? Again, your time. You have to go make copies. So, even if the key only costs $2, you still got to drive over there and make it. That's kind of a waste of your time. So $15. Number 9, HOA and utilities. That's big here in LA. As a lot of the buildings are real old, so they'll have like one water meter for like 4 units or 5 units. You get a service like livable, and the tenants have to pay their share of the water. So that's just putting it here in writing to make sure that they pay their utilities. Number 10, tenant agrees to temporarily relocate in case they have insects or vermin. Again, that's usually the tenant's fault because they didn't keep the place clean, but sometimes they'll try to make you put them up in a hotel and all kinds of stuff, or they don't even want to cooperate. So you want to put that in writing, and you want to make sure that that they're forced to have to allow you to do your work. Because sometimes they try to prevent you to do that so they can sue you. Number 11, it's about recycling. That's because a lot of tenants, they don't want to separate their trash. They just go out there and just throw it in the trash bin. And what happens is here in LA, we have a green trash can for yard waste, black for trash, and blue for recyclables. If you mix it, they won't pick up your trash. So the tenant's trash starts backing up and you start getting rats and stuff and roaches. So make sure that they follow the rules and they separate out the trash. Number 12, bed bugs. Again, it's like the vermin. You want to make sure that they cooperate, and if they bought the bed bugs, which most likely they did, if your unit didn't have it before they moved in, they got to pay for it. Eradication of bed bugs is difficult and very expensive. So you want to make sure you have this in writing because that's a big trend right now, bed bugs. A lot of them are coming from India and China and stuff like that, and it's spreading all over the place, and tenants are making a really big deal about it, which they should. I wouldn't want to live with bed bugs, but they're bringing them from their travels or from not keeping their place clean or whatever. Number 14, tenant is required to have renter's insurance. Make sure your tenants always have renter's insurance and that you're listed as an additional insured, because if they burn your house down and you have $100,000 of insurance, but the tenant has $50,000 in renter's insurance, that works as a supplement to cover your building. So it can work in your favor. Also, sometimes the tenants, there's a leak or something, their stuff gets damaged, they want you to pay for it. You're not responsible for any other stuff. That's in pretty much all lease agreements. But if they have renter's insurance, it'll help pay for their stuff, and that's likely they're going to come after you for it. 15, all fees, monies constitute additional rent, utilities, late fees, etc. Again, that's for judges to make sure they don't throw all that out. It's rent. 16, no cigarette butts. Obviously, you don't want that around. It goes into the ocean. There's a lot of damage to the environment. 17, no candles or any smoking. I don't like any of that stuff. If you burn down your building, it's a nuisance. The other tenants are going to complain. Just put it in writing. No smoking. If they want to smoke, go smoke on the street. 18, no holes in the molding. It's very difficult. Molding around doors and windows, it's wood. So it takes a lot more work. So if they want to make holes, make it in the walls, not on your molding. It's too much work. So if you have any questions, please comment below. And from Los Angeles, California, it's Dr. Ernesto Martinez. Thank you for listening. All right, goodbye.